Hello you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. This is an animal lifestyle channel talking all things fish, bunnies, and cats. If any of those three animals are something you are interested in, please go ahead and subscribe. I will be throwing out lots of information over those three. I've kind of been rotating between the animals. I've already done fish, I've done cats, and this week we're gonna do bunnies. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with what we're going to be talking about today. And that is my top 10 best tips for owning bunnies. Tip number 1 is going to be that cage size. It is highly recommended to do a cage size that is between 4 by 4 feet in length. That's going to be the minimum space that your bunny needs to have a good life, to run around, do the zoomies that they can do. If they're in any smaller cage, you won't really get to see them. If they are in a smaller cage, I do highly recommend having a couple of hours a day to get some playtime in, to get those binkies, to get those zoomies in. One thing that I want to talk about, free roaming is an option for bunnies. I used to free roam them at my apartment. It isn't for everybody, and I completely understand that. I don't have that right now here, which is why they have playtime. Just because I live back with my parents and they don't want them to be free roamed, which I completely understand. You do have to really bunny proof your room. So that is all about the bunny cages. The second thing I'm going to be talking about to you guys is diet. Diet for bunnies is a lot of misunderstood. I mean, the movies, the TV shows, they all show like bunnies eating carrots all the time, and that's what they eat. And bunnies do like carrots. My bunnies like carrots. But carrots really are just used as a treat, just to feed them every once in a while, because they are really high in sugars and fats. A bunny's diet should consist 80% of hay, so if you do have bunnies, yes, you will have to get them hay. I typically get the Timothy hay or oxbow hay are my two favorite that I like. It's recommended to get like your main base of hay, which will be like the Timothy or oxbow hay. And then you can get another type of hay that'll be like a treat hay for them that you can stuff in their toys. That'll be just a little bit of different stimulation for them, a little bit of different food, and stuff like that's really recommended, and I'll talk about that later because I'm going to talk about toys for them. But stuff like that's really good if they're in a cage because it gives them a little bit more of stimulation. So like not feeding their food in bowls. I haven't used a bowl for my bunnies in a while. Generally I'll just take it and I just spread it around their cage so that they have to go forage for their food, which is also a really great way to do that. And then the rest of your bunnies' diet should be 15% veggies and 5% pellets and treats. Some people opt out of not feeding their bunnies pellets at all. I personally feed my bunnies pellets. Generally what I do is I feed them a little bit of pellets in the morning, and then I feed them their veggies at night. That just works best for me right now. Healthy treats for them. So I would not recommend feeding them most of the bunny treats they have at Petco, like the yogurt drops and stuff, because they really aren't good for bunnies. You really want to stick with the natural stuff. I feed them bananas, strawberries. One of my bunnies, Bambi, he likes blueberries, but Thumper does not like blueberries. And so, but I will feed Bambi the occasional blueberry. Typically I just stick with bananas, strawberries, and carrots, just because it's easier. And then another thing would be sometimes going and hiding a treat in there, and you always want to change up their treats. Just to get them a little bit of different variety of foods would be great. You don't want to change up their diet too quickly though, because it could mess with their system and cause them to go into GI stasis. My bunnies really like stuff called willow balls, which are just these kinds. I actually got these today for them because they've destroyed all of the other ones. And then I also got them, I still obviously got it today, but this is an Oxbow brand, right there, and it's just like this little hay, compacted Oxbow hay cube, and this is going to be a little bit of a different hay than what they generally eat, because I do generally feed them Timothy hay, and super excited to give them to them. Those are the toys that I generally give to them. You don't want to give them something that's painted or colored, just because a lot of the dyes or paints in there really aren't all that good. You don't want to give it to them because they are chewing it. They are going to digest that stuff sometimes. And it's not good for them. So I would just stick with the natural Willow balls, hay toys. I will feed them the occasional hay cube, but I do not always feed them that. Alright, the fourth one is handling / companionship. Some bunnies like to be petted, but most bunnies don't like being picked up. My bunnies, they hate being picked up. I can't pick them up, cuddle with them. They're not cuddle buddies, but they do like little head scratches. Not all the time. They have to choose when they get their head scratches, but they do like them. And then, so they're really not the best animal for little kids, just because a lot of little kids can't understand why they can't pick up. Like, they just want to go over, pick up them, cuddle with them, and bunnies, they don't really like doing that. You have to be really patient with them and stuff like that, which makes them not very good kid-friendly animals. The other thing about the companionship that I wanted to talk about is that they are social animals. And so if you have one bunny, that is okay, but you have to make sure that you can give him enough attention throughout the day. If you can't give him enough attention throughout the day, then it's really recommended to try to find him another companion bunny that he can live with, to socialize with, and that will also help keep him bored, because they'll have each other for little playmates. Alright, the fifth thing I want to talk about is whether to use a water bottle or a dish. You will want to use a dish, and this is because a dish is going to be more natural to what they would actually use to drink in the wild, whereas the water bottle makes them tilt their head in an unnatural way to get water out. And bunnies will actually drink as much water as a small, like, 15-pound dog will drink. And a water bottle, it's not going to give them enough water that they need throughout the day, so they'll pretty much constantly be dehydrated. Sixth thing that I wanted to talk about is how long bunnies live. Bunnies can live up to 12 years, so whenever you go to get a bunny, you do want to keep that in mind, just because it is a pretty long commitment. When you get a bunny, if you don't think that you will be able to commit for 12 years, then I highly suggest going with a different animal. The seventh thing is going to be grooming. Bunnies actually groom themselves more than cats do. And keeping that in mind, bunnies also can't throw up. So they're going to be ingesting hair if you yourself don't help them with the grooming. And they can't throw it up like cats do. So what could happen is that they could get a GI block, which ultimately could kill your bunny, which obviously you don't want that to happen. And so you do want to regularly groom your bunnies. I know it's really difficult for me sometimes just to go and get them to groom them, but I always try to groom them, especially when they're shedding. I do groom them more when they shed. Whenever they're not shedding, you don't have to groom them as much. I do recommend grooming them at least once every 2 weeks, and maybe even once a week while shedding / every other day, depending on if you have a long-haired or a short-haired bunny, and it does depend on your bunny, on you. During grooming, you'll also have to check their nails. You will have to clip their nails sometimes. My bunnies are very difficult clipping their nails, but I I always try to do it. Sometimes we only get a couple of them cut because I get frustrated with them, but that is totally okay. All right. Number 8, what I'm going to talk about is litter training. Bunnies can be litter trained. Bunnies naturally like to go to the restroom in the same place as far as urinating go. The thing that will be difficult to litter train them is pooping. I have not ever really been able to litter train them with that. They do generally go a lot more in the litter box, but there always is still some around the room after they have playtime that I have to go and clean up. But as far as urinating goes, they all go in a litter box. I've never really had the issue with them not going in a litter box. They like to go more in corners, so you'll want to put your litter boxes in corners. And really, you'll just basically try to figure out which corner your bunny is gonna go in, and then just put the litter box there. So sometimes it might be difficult. Another way you could do is that whenever you notice that your bunny might be going to the restroom, to pick him up and go and put him in the litter box, or if you see him using the litter box, to give him a treat. So those are suggestions and tips of litter training. Number 9 is just regular training. You can train bunnies. I have been trying to clicker train and spot train my bunnies for a while, and they do very well with it. However, they do get stubborn and figure some things out. I will also be doing a full and complete video just about training. All of these, really most of this stuff, I'm gonna end up doing a video just dedicated to that. But right now, I just wanted to give you guys an overview of everything you would need for a bunny, just in one video if you wanted to go and get one really quickly. The 10th and the last thing that I wanted to talk about is overheating, and this is more important in the summer or if you live in the hot climates, and this is just because bunnies store all of their body heat in their ears, and they can get overheated very quickly and easily. One thing that you could do is get some ceramic tile, and you can put it in the fridge for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then bring it out and put it in a corner of your room, or your cage, or wherever your bunnies are staying, so that they have something cold that they can go lay under. Another thing would be you could use plastic water bottles and freeze them, or just use ice packs, wrap them in a towel, and go and put them next to walls so that your bunnies can go over and lay next to. I find that it's really great to have these all on hand, even if your room doesn't get that cold, or if you get the AC on, because I did have one day / night where my AC went out, and I did have to bring out all of those tricks because it was in the dead of summer, and I was very nervous from them getting overheated. So that is all of my 10 tips for bunnies. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please, if you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this about bunnies, cats, or fish, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!